So today I'm gonna be talking about the cell membrane and how it works. And before that, that bio video, I found this soundtrack online, so my birthday was like actually hella good because I found that music online and now it's lit. Okay, but phospholipids are the most abundant lipid because every cell has it. I mean, the outside of every cell are made of phospholipids. They're amphipathic molecules, which means they contain hydrophobic and hydrophilic regions. They have hydrophobic tails and hydrophilic heads. And the fluid mosaic model states that a membrane is a fluid structure, which means that it can move around and it's bendable and it's shapeable, it's not rigid. And it has a mosaic of various proteins embedded in it, which we'll go over soon. And here's just the basic phospholipid bilayer. So the non-polar tails, they face the inside, but the polar heads, they face the outside because they're hydrophilic and water's on each end. So hydrophilic water. And here's just a zoomed image of one phospholipid bilayer segment. And then phospholipid bilayers, they have a bunch of stuff like embedded in it, like proteins and other stuff that we'll go over in a couple seconds. And I'm just going to go over each thing and its function really quick. So, as we see, I already explained the phospholipid bilayer. It's a main thing in the um, cell membrane. These little orange thingy mobobs are cholesterol. They keep the cell fluid by you just need to know that they keep the cell fluid, and it's really important for us to have them. These the big proteins that go through the membrane are integral proteins. Integral because they are the bigger ones. Peripheral proteins attach to the sides of the membrane and they're like peripheral vision on the sides. Um, the microfilaments of the cytoskeleton is a part of a cell, and we'll go over that later, but they help with the structure of the cell. And fibers of extracurricular matrix, we don't need to know about that much, but it provides some nutrients and helps with structure outside. These glycolipids and glycoproteins, they're really important. The lipids and proteins are attached to carbohydrate on the outside of the cell membrane. They help cells recognize each other and communicate with each other. It's basically a name tag for each cell. So like if it has this protein, that means it's from Akshay and it's his muscle cell, and if it has this lipid, it's his bone cell and stuff like that. And again, like I said, the phospholipids are mosaic, which means that they can move around. Usually, they just move side to side and slide against each other, and sometimes they flip flop, but it's really really rare. Like I mean, out of all your cells, it happens once a month. Like let's be real. And this is just an experiment showing um, how they prove that phospholipids are um, fluid. So they took two cells, put them together, and after an hour, they saw that the proteins from each cell, blue and pink, were mixed together. That means that the phospholipids embedded with each other and were all like moving and getting to know each other. If it wasn't fluid and it was rigid, then one side would be blue and one side would be pink. And then again, like any like as water turns to ice, as temperatures cool, membranes switch from fluid to solid state, and it all depends on the types of lipids. And it like this is just simple stuff. Like if it's cold, it's gonna be solid. Again, this is fluid. That's not fluid. Look at how it's spaced out a little. That means it can move against each other. And then cholesterol, it keeps some space between the phospholipids and that makes them more fluid. Like I said earlier, cholesterol, the function is to make the bilayer more fluid. And then I went over this earlier, but peripheral proteins are bound to the surface of the membrane. Integral proteins penetrate the hydrophobic core. I'm going to go over these in the next video a little when I talk about types of transport, so bear with me. And okay, and then we went over glycolipids and glycoproteins. They cells recognize each other by binding to other molecules, and again, it's just basically a name tag for each cell. Tell what type of cell, who it belongs to. And yeah, so that's it for this